I just got back from my local movie theater screening of Pokémon the Movie White, Victini and Zekrom, which is the 14th or 15th Pokémon film. I can tell you, back when I saw the Pokémon the first movie back in 98 or 99, I remember thinking to myself, they say the first movie, like how pompous can you get? And now there's like 14 or 15 different movies. So anyway, this is the first Pokemon movie I've got to see in theaters since the third movie, which was the last that was shown, had a major widespread release in theaters in North America. And I have to say, it's really nice to see a new Pokemon movie in theaters. And for me personally, like, I'm a big Pokemon nut, but really I don't play the games all that much. I sort of almost make myself watch the anime. What really sort of has kept me interested in Pokemon is just something about the settings and the world itself sort of fascinates me. So, you know, I put barely enough hours into Pokemon Black to beat the game. I haven't beat it since I played it since I've beaten it like a couple of months ago. But the movies, like, just the world itself sort of fascinates me and is what kept me interested. So, like, the 13th Pokemon movie, like the Zoroark film, that one, that's my favorite. I really loved that. I loved the city and the settings. And so this one is just getting in the theater, and this only aired, like, this was only screened for 2 days in North America in early December. For one weekend, there was my local theater had 2 screenings, one Saturday, one Sunday. I saw the Sunday one today. I just got back from. And, you know, sitting down in the theater, I got there early, got the perfect seats. You know, I had my box of, what was it? My box of malted milk balls, and I got my bag of the giveaway stuff. I was like the second person to be seated there, so it was pretty awesome. Sitting there, and when the movie starts, it's just a blast. It's like like, as far as entertainment, nerdy stuff goes, that's like that's the best. This is the best time I ever had. You know, just sitting there and you just lose yourself in the world of the movie for a little while, and it's just a lot of fun. And one of the things I really enjoy about some of the Pokemon movies, it's there in some and not in others. This one had it. The Zoroark movie had it. Not so much in others, but getting to sort of get a sense of what everyday life is like in the Pokemon world, you know, just going to the different locations, seeing people, you know, just walking down the street, not really paying attention to all the, you know, the Pokemon battles going on, seeing people actually selling Pokemon merchandise, in this case a lot of it of, you know, Victini. It's just, I like that stuff. That's kind of the reason I watch the movies. Like in the Zoroark movies, seeing a guy walking down the street with his Mightyena, I think it was, you know, like how someone would walk a dog. That's the kind of stuff I enjoy of the movies. And there's a lot of that going on, and I love the movies. They always come up with interesting locations. They tend to be based on, you know, real life particular cities. Like the 13th, the Zoroark movie was based on Amsterdam. There was another, and plus I like canals and things like that, so I really love that movie in particular. And that was based on Amsterdam. There was another movie that was based on Venice, Italy, and this movie, well, being that the Unova region is based on the New York City metropolitan area, there's basically no place in particular this movie could explicitly be based on. Like, you could explicitly say that
Castelia City
is based on Times Square in the theater district. You could explicitly say that Nacrene City is based on parts of Brooklyn. You know, you can say the Sky Bridge is based on the Brooklyn Bridge. You can see this, I don't know where the heck they are. Let's just say they're in Staten Island, which isn't even on the map of Unova, but it's part of New York City. Anyway, they're on top of these mountains, and there are these sort of generic, this is going to be a very, very spoiler review. I'm just going to basically just rant about whatever I want to talk about it, so be warned, this is going to be a big rant. I'm going to jump around a lot, probably. There's these generic Indian, Native American people, like this sort of generic Native American culture that is in this city up in the mountains, and you get to see a restaurant pretty early on in the film. And one of the cool things about, well, the anime, and it's particularly in movies, because the animation is so much better, this is the first time we got to see a lot of the Unova region Pokemon animated. Like, I really liked the way that the best battles, I think, in all of the animated canon are the ones in the intro part of the movies. I think it takes like maybe 15 minutes in before we see the title screen, then like maybe 20 or 30 minutes in before we see the opening credits, because they'll always often have a scene where they'll be having a battle that's related to the location they're going to, like, oh, there's a festival, we're gonna have and they're having a battle contest or whatever, or a tournament, and then they'll show the characters battling while they play a remixed version of that season's intro theme over the battles. And those are the funnest battles to watch for me, because they're so well animated, and usually there's not a lot of pressure, and you know why it's good is because there's not a lot of talking. That's why you don't hear them giving their Pokemon commands and talking trash back and forth and, you know, seeing stock footage. It's all original fighting, and it looks very sort of natural, how you'd expect a Pokemon battle to go. And so we got to see Superior for the first time in the anime. I like the way they animated him, the way Superior moves around. It was fun watching those battles, and they're written well, they're scripted well, and so that I enjoyed seeing that. I enjoyed seeing them walk around the town sort of having fun, because in the course of an episode, they start an episode and they're in the plot and they're usually talking to some character of the day you'll never see again, or this time you can really get to see them sort of walk around and sort of have a sense of normality, that, you know, this is actually, you know, a place people live, a place that not everything necessarily revolves around the main characters, and that these places have existed and have their own way of life and day-to-day way of doing things before Ash and his friends showed up. And I don't know, one thing I noticed odd about the animation, Silent seems shorter in the animation in this movie. He seems shorter and a bit more of a kid. He seems a bit, in the anime, I got the impression, the way he's drawn, that he's a bit older, maybe 18 or 20. In this one, he looks not much older than the other ones, and his head looks a little big for his body. But it's nice just seeing them take their time with the story and not it be so rushed. Really, I just get I'm gonna rant about the rest of the movie, but it's just a blast for me, just sitting in the theater with the huge screen, and it's just like, you just get lost in that world for a few minutes, and you forget you're watching the movie, and you're just sort of in that world there with them for a little while, and it's just very refreshing, and it's probably my favorite way in which to enjoy Pokemon out of the games and the anime and the soundtracks and all that. That's my favorite thing, is getting lost in the beginning part of a movie, and it was nice. So, moving on, I have maybe 20 minutes left to film. I don't want this video to be 20 minutes long. It's probably going to be 20 minutes long anyway, but, so, we have Victini, cute, nice. I was surprised that Victini didn't talk, and the trend in these movies recently is that there'll be a cute little mascot Pokemon that'll use telepathy for no reason at all, not even being a psychic Pokemon, like Zorua could use telepathy. What is that little hedgehog thing?
This has been a test of the Nintendo A-Bomb alert system. If Nintendo's A-Bomb were to have actually been launched, this message would have been accompanied with naysayers being blown away and fans freaking the heck out. This is only a test.
This little thing right here, what is it called? Shaman, can use telepathy. I liked Shaman a lot, actually. But in this one, we have Reshiram and Zekrom serving as the psychically talking Pokemon, and they really don't have much to say. They could have not talked, and it wouldn't have detracted much from the plot of the movie. Which is kind of unfortunate, because when a Pokemon uses telepathy, you'd think it would be a big deal and they'd have something important to say, or else they'd serve as major characters like Shaman and Zorua did. This one, they really could, if they hadn't said a word, it really wouldn't have detracted much. But going back to the idea of seeing Pokemon in animated form for the first time, especially with this nice smooth animation, Golurk surprised everyone because Golurk has freaking rocket jets coming out of its body and out of its hands, and it looks like a mobile armor from the Gundam series almost. And it's, you know what it looks like? It looks almost like the Iron Giant. It was like, when it was flying around fighting Reshiram, I almost expected it to say Superman. Like, it was really, it was cool, but nothing in the games, and even in Pokédex 3D, I checked Pokédex 3D, there's nothing in the anime or the game suggesting that thing has freaking rocket jets. So, that was cool. Aside from that, well, Pokemon movies tend to fall on a number of tropes. One of them being, going to a nice picturesque city. There's some events going on, and this one, when it got to the point, there's a point where I was just totally engrossed and I was having fun. I was like, yes, like this is like, everyday life in the Pokemon world, having a good time. We're fighting, and Victini comes into play pretty early. And it got to a point where it was right at this exact moment where Victini hands Ash, Iris, and Silent these big, gigantic berries. And I was like, alright, you guys have been having fun for way too long now. Everything's going great. You're having fun. You're laughing it up. Okay, where's the villain? Something bad has to happen now. Where's the villain? Speaking of villains, I'm going to get sidetracked here. Team Rocket is in this movie, Jesse, James, and Meowth, and they're completely useless. If they had cut every single scene with Team Rocket, if they cut Team Rocket from the movie, if they just cut the scenes with them in it, I wouldn't have missed anything. Like, at least in the first and second movie, they actually participate in doing things. They play a role in the plot, and it's especially disappointing because at the beginning of Pokemon Black and White, one of the hooks to get people interested was the fact that Team Rocket, they gave them they gave them actual traditional, like normal, like Team Rocket, like agent outfits, like the black uniforms, and had them act all serious, and they're doing like serious like Team Rocket missions, like stealing things and planning devices and spying and reporting directly to Giovanni. And then after this aborted arc, which was to involve Team Plasma, they basically just went back to being to wearing white uniforms and going after Pikachu again, but they were still took themselves seriously. Sometimes they were goofballs, sometimes they actually, as of lately in the anime, they're going back to being serious and spying and planning devices and doing cool ninja evil organization stuff. But in this movie, they're just clowns. They just excuse me, my throat's getting sore. They're just sitting around. Here's what Team Rocket does. They're in day clothes. They're in their regular clothes. They don't attract attention. They talk about catching Victini, and then they follow Ash around a bit, and then they're climbing up the castle, and then they fall off the castle and they grab onto the castle, and then when it's over, they say, "Whew, that was close. I'm glad we survived." And that was it. They were totally useless. Come on, Team Rocket, if they provided some opposition or did something, because really there's no legit villain in this movie, and that's a serious problem. I like in the 13th movie, in the Zoroark movie, I liked that villain because even though he still was pretty typical, he had used an airship that gets blown up, and he's trying to harm the legendary Pokemon and all that. But he had interesting motivations, and plus he was kind of almost like a Rupert Murdoch XP. And the sort of theme of that movie was to be skeptical of media messages and what's reported on the news, and to sort of do your own research and make your own conclusions, because media images and messages can lie to you. And that's an awesome message, a very timely message for kids to get. But the villain was just sort of a well-intentioned extremist who redeems himself with very easily, and he's not, even when he's harming Victini, he's not trying to be evil. He's like, it's not, there wasn't a real, I never felt like, get that villain, Ash, and that's a problem, because I like my villains, and I know when I was a kid I liked my villain, and I know kids like their villains, and so It was kind of disappointing there wasn't really a clear-cut villain in this movie. There are lots of moments, like the whole first half of the movie, I feel like, was just, okay, there's the intro part where they're having a good time, they show up at the town, they meet the characters they're going to deal with the rest of the movie, and then they spend a lot of time explaining all this backstory that doesn't mean a lot to, it's just kind of, I know if I was a kid I'd find it kind of boring. I found it kind of boring as an adult. I mean, I know it's a kid's movie, but when you make a good kid's movie, ideally it should also be a good movie. It could be for kids and be childish in that sense, but it should also be a good movie, and this one kind of lacked that in the back half. They're explaining all this mythology, and they had these beautiful, scenes of them explaining all this backstory, and it didn't do a lot for me. It didn't feel like it was just kind of a disappointment. The action towards the end wasn't all that great, but as far as what they showed, there are a lot of great ideas they had. Like this one character, like he has the clink line, the clink, clank, and clang, I think, I don't know what their names are, the three gear Pokemon. And they uses them to power different machines. Like he uses them to power a steam-powered organ grinder. He uses them to power a helicopter. Like the Pokemon fit into the machinery and become the gears that power the helicopter. Stuff like cool stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff like that, but in this movie it wasn't very satisfying. And I really feel like the storyline revolving Reshiram and Zekrom in the games was a lot more interesting, and in this movie it didn't feel all that interesting. It wasn't a lot going on, and of course you have the fake out death scene where you think that Victini's dead, and they do it over and over. You come to expect it. Only the smallest little kids. Like when I was a little kid. I was pretty much when the first Pokemon movie came out. Even then, I did not take it seriously when Ash got turned to stone. I knew he was going to get brought back. And this one, they do another fake-out Ash death. They do a fake-out Ash death. They do a couple of fake-out Victini deaths, and it's really not very suspenseful or interesting. It was more interesting in the 13th movie. And also there are these loud, obnoxious losers in the back row who are like, my age or older, and they think they're just the most. I could just go on a swearing rant about these people, but they're almost stereotypical, sitting in the back row, talking, above. They're just talking loud throughout the whole movie, making all this obnoxious, unfunny commentary, thinking they're, Mystery Science Theater or riff tracks. Except those guys are intelligent, and they think about what they say, and are good writers. And these guys are just annoying morons. I almost said something else. Telling the parents of the children in there to shut up. Okay, I'm gonna be frank. You guys, if you're watching this, you think you're hardcore showing up to a movie meant for maybe 10-year-olds and acting like a 5-year-old. I mean, I could just go on a whole rant about how obnoxious you are. I mean, these kids, the kids in the theater watching this, they are not growing up at a time where they could see a Pokemon movie in the theater every other year. This is kind of like a special one-time thing for them. So for you to, spoil it, acting like a moron the whole time, shouting stuff out, and then shouting at their parents to shut up when they shush you. Let's put it this way. When I meet people and talk to people, and we talk about this and that, and they find out that it comes up that I like Pokemon, they're surprised. When you meet someone and they find out you like Pokemon, they're not going to be surprised. I'll put it that way. You guys are idiots. The movie was okay. The first half of the movie, the first 25% of the movie like before it's kind of bad when I could say that it was great until the plot kicked in, and when there was. It was great before the conflict came in. I really would have rather preferred just watching them run around the city enjoying their day more so than the actual movie. But there was so much. It's just kind of. It wasn't my. I don't want to say I enjoyed the first part of the movie so much that I really feel bad even saying anything bad about the rest of it. And so, for little kids, which is the movie's meant for, they'll get a kick out of it. They'll enjoy it, and as long as the little kids are happy, that's really all that matters. No matter how much I want to rant about it. So, the day this movie aired was actually just the day after the Purloin episode of the Pokemon Black and White anime aired in North America. So, because of what happened in that episode, which I won't spoil the joke for you, but because of that. Every older person in the theater who wasn't a parent, every adult fan there actually just started snickering when that Purloin appeared on screen for that reason, and it was kind of funny. And additionally, in the anime, didn't Silent have this huge fear of Purloins and was afraid to follow Purloin whatsoever, but in the movies, all for following, he doesn't have any second thoughts about following this Purloin that's leading them into this garden area. I know there's no continuity between the show and the anime. The movies are almost like an alternate universe. Speaking of the incongruities, in the first episode of the Pokemon Black and White anime, didn't Zekrom appear to Ash? Yes, he did, but in the movie it's explained that he was in the form of a stone until he's awakened. So I don't know why they'd write that into the show if they know they're going to totally contradict it in the film, but I'm just nitpicking over a kid's film here, so I'm not going to take that too seriously. I got a little packet of giveaways when I came in. Let's see what's in here. Join the Pokemon online community. Yeah, just an ad plugging all the Pokemon stuff. What's up with, I wish they had make an actual Pokemon trading card game for the 3DS instead of online on the web. But look at these characters. They look like They look like characters from those old Esurance commercials with Aaron Esurance. That's what those characters look like to me. Okay, next we have a gigantic Pokemon card. Victini, and it knows the move V-Create. This feels ridiculous holding this. Let's see. Let's hold this next to a normal sized Pokemon card. One other thing I wanted to mention, because I happened to pick out Snivy here. Ash's Snivy is got totally boned in this movie and has no screen time whatsoever, which is incredible. I mean, I think even Oshawa got, which is yeah, I got a sticker in here. Got an AR marker for Victini. Yes, I was very disappointed that I didn't get to see Ash's Snivy in this, an awesome animation. Yes, Victini. And what is this? Oh, it's a little preview for the Pokemon Black and White manga, which I already have the full versions of, the first 2 volumes at least. And in fact, I got about halfway through this one and didn't finish this one. This is actually the first proper manga I've ever got. It was I'm not really into it normally, but it was on sale at some bookstore that was closing in the city. So I got it, and so that's the pack-ins. That's my opinion of Pokemon, the 14th movie, Victini and Zekrom, and I think the Victini and Reshiram version is coming on. The white version's I watched the white version. The black version's coming on in a week or 2 on Cartoon Network. They're also going to be showing the Zoroark film then. I'll watch it then, see the differences, see how different the movies are. But I don't expect much to be different. It would be cool if they did take branching story paths or whatever, but mostly you watch it was nice seeing it in theaters for the immersion, and I'm glad Nintendo decided to do this, so the little kids can enjoy it in the theater. And that's my thoughts on the 14th Pokemon movie, and thank you very much for watching.